How's it going, everybody? Too Spooky here. In today's video, we're going to be continuing our new series about Nen by going over and explaining Neferpitou's Nen abilities. Before we actually get started, I wanted to once again mention that Nen is a very complex and fleshed out subject. Therefore, it can be a little bit difficult to understand if you are not already somewhat knowledgeable on the subject. So before watching this video, I highly suggest watching my video explaining Nen as a whole. You can find a link to that video in the description or via the card in the top right hand corner of the screen. This will also likely be the last time I put this little disclaimer here, so after this you guys are on your own. I also quickly wanted to mention that Pitou's gender has never actually been confirmed, so I'm just going to refer to Pitou as a female throughout the video. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin. Pitou's Nen category is specialization, right off the bat meaning she's capable of creating some crazy abilities. Pitou is also a rare case, considering the fact that she was born with the ability to use Nen, which obviously stems from her chimera and heritage, but it's noted to be a very rare occurrence for anyone to be born with the ability to use Nen rather than learning how to control aura nodes later in life. The amount of aura Pitou possesses is also said to be immensely vast, only outshined by the king himself. This power from birth can also further be shown by the sheer fact that she was able to use Nen effectively only mere hours after her birth. And even further than that, Pitou was also able to create her Hatsu abilities almost instantly after deciding what she wanted them to be, which is a task that is usually supposed to be extremely difficult and take a very long time to accomplish. Pitou was also mentioned to be the strongest of the royal guards by Illumi. I'm not entirely sure if that has anything to do specifically with her Nen, but I felt it was worth mentioning regardless. Before we move on to the actual Hatsu abilities, I feel it's also worth mentioning that her Ren was said to be exceptionally malicious and terrifying. It was even stated that Hisoka's nor Illumi's Ren is even comparable to the Ren Pitou was capable of producing. Considering those two were previously crowned as having the most frightening Ren, it just shows how much more powerful Pitou's Nen capabilities were. It should also be noted that Pitou is currently crowned with the longest range of Nen, which is up to 2 kilometers or about 1.25 miles in range. So right off the bat, everything about her Nen capabilities is absolutely terrifying, but it only gets more terrifying with her Hatsu abilities, which we will go over now. The first ability is Dr. Blythe. It's currently unknown which Nen categories are used for this ability, but it's likely either emission, conjuration, manipulation, specialization, or a mixture of the four based on its characteristics. The ability itself appears to be a large doll of sorts that is connected to Pitou's tail. It is also equipped with numerous medical tools and equipment which are used for its main ability, because the main ability of Dr. Blythe is healing. Whether that be by performing a major surgery or just performing minor first aid, this ability can do it all. To give an example of how effective Dr. Blythe is, it was able to perform a surgery for a major stomach wound in less than an hour. So no matter the injury, it's likely that Dr. Blythe is able to fix the problem. Although it's also worth mentioning that we are currently unaware if this ability is able to cure diseases, but we do know for a fact that the only injury it cannot fix is death itself. However, it is capable of completely reconstructing destroyed corpses, so at the very least, any sort of physical wound is fixable with Dr. Blythe. You may be thinking that being able to heal almost every physical injury by itself is a pretty overpowered ability, and it is, but the fact that it's so overpowered only means that it comes with multiple conditions for activation and limitations for use. The first condition or limitation being that Dr. Blythe cannot move away from the spot it was initially summoned, and because it's attached to Pitou's tail, this limits her movements immensely, as she's only able to move up to 20 meters away from Dr. Blythe while it's active. The other limitation is that Pitou is unable to use Nen or any of her other Hatsu abilities while using Dr. Blythe. Furthermore, Dr. Blythe requires the use of almost all of Pitou's Nen while it's active, meaning that Pitou has barely any Nen to defend herself with, leaving her very vulnerable. The second Nen ability is Puppeteering, which is an emission and manipulation ability. The Puppeteer that is emitted by Pitou appears to be some sort of clown with large hands that has strings attached. These strings are used to attach to an individual's body, and then the Puppeteer and Pitou have complete complete control over that body. This includes everything from controlling how the body moves, making it speak, and even making it use Nen, even if the body in question was never capable of using Nen. So it essentially makes any body a puppet. If the body in question was a Nen user, the puppet can also make it use its own Nen abilities. It's unknown for sure if Pitou is able to directly control the Puppeteer itself, but we do know for sure that each Puppeteer is given orders of operation ahead of time, so they essentially move automatically, with Pitou just keeping them active with her Nen. It's unknown exactly how many Puppeteers Pitou can have active at once, but we do know she is capable of controlling at least 50 different bodies at once. Pitou can also sense when a Puppeteer's puppet has been disabled, meaning that in addition to her already massive N, she's also able to survey other areas. Because although she's able to keep these Puppeteers active passively, the range of these Puppeteers is also a great distance, although the exact distance is never disclosed. It also seems that Pitou is capable of hiding these Puppeteers within. The Puppeteer did, however, become visible to the Nen users that were present after having Kite's corpse use his aura via the second level, so it appears that perhaps making a corpse use Nen forces the Puppeteer to become visible, but we don't know for sure. And it's also possible for Pitou to regain the Nen used to keep these puppets active by dispelling them. We currently don't know the conditions for activation, but it appears that one of these conditions may be the fact that Pitou can only control corpses. We don't know for sure, because it's never been noted if the soldiers she controlled were living or dead, but almost all of the bodies that were controlled were of already deceased individuals, which, if that were the case, that would make perfect sense for a condition. The third and final ability is Sakura. This ability's Nen categories are also unknown, but it's likely something involving manipulation, enhancement, emission, specialization, or a mixture of the four. Appearance-wise, this ability appears to be some sort of gigantic ballerina creature from my nightmares. Sakura is very similar to the puppeteering ability, but instead of controlling a corpse, it instead controls the movements of Pitou. The ballerina attaches strings to various places on Pitou's body and controls her like a marionette. This ability was noted to take only 0.1 seconds to be used effectively after it was summoned, and it is generally used to take Pitou past her physical limits. After it is summoned, Pitou gives it the command to dance past its limits, which it will then use Pitou's body to offensively attack with greater strength and speed than usual. When using this ability, there's also a notable size increase in Pitou's muscles, showing that it does indeed increase her physical capabilities just by attaching the strings. I suppose I should mention that this muscle growth has been shown before, for instance when her leg muscles increased in size when she was about to make a huge leap. However, with this ability, it appears that the strings just increase the size and strength of her muscles constantly. This ability is also capable of remaining active after death. We'll talk more about this in the future, but depending on the dedication and resolve of the user, some Nen abilities become stronger after death as a sort of ultimate limitation. In this case, Pitou's resolve to serve and protect the king allowed the ballerina to keep controlling their body even after Pitou's death, allowing their already deceased body to sever Gon's arm. Although, as we know, that wasn't near enough to stop him. But that pretty much does it for Pitou's Nen abilities. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and hopefully you learned something new. If you did, be sure to drop a like, and while you're at it, be sure to comment below which Nen ability you would like to learn about next. Make sure to subscribe and smack that notification bell so you can be notified about the next video. And be sure to follow me on Twitter for any updates about the channel. Also, if you're feeling saucy, be sure to drop a follow on Twitch. I'm likely going to be streaming every Monday and Thursday, so be sure to drop that follow so you don't miss the next one. I'm going to try and get my upload schedule back in order, and hopefully bring this series to you guys a lot more regularly, along with another series I have in the works, so stay tuned. Anyway, if you cannot get enough Hunter x Hunter content, be sure to click here for the previous video about Kurapika's Nen abilities, or click here for the overall explanation of Nen in case you skipped out on it earlier. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon with a new video.